everybody, welcome back to Expedition Homestead, the channel where we build your passion for growing. Just here really quick before it rains, wanted to give you all an update. We're at my mother-in-law's house, the house where we used to live. If you probably recognize some of all of these different areas, the greenhouse back there, all of the perennial flowers and stuff that we've got going on. And I wanted to give you an update to show you just how massive the curly willow has gotten in the backyard here that we propagated. Must have been maybe 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Probably like 3.5 or 4 years ago, actually. I'm gonna turn the camera around so you guys can check it out. It's gotten pretty big. All of the OGs of the channel will recognize the very first raised garden bed that we built on the channel. And then right here is our curly willow that we propagated. It is probably about 12 feet tall now at this point. It's doing so well. A lot of incredible growth off of it. This branch, this trunk right here was the main piece that we propagated out years ago. And then everything else that's shooting off of it on this side, that was new growth that just popped up. And it is really just bushing out into a beautiful tree. This is what you can expect to see from your curly willow if you propagate it in just a couple of short years. It is really quite magnificent how fast these will grow. And that's why I love propagating willows. It's one of my favorite things to do in the garden. I just wish I had acres to plant these willows in. So maybe one day, along with all of your help and support, we can get the acreage that we need to grow hundreds of willow trees and to sell them to other people. That's, you know, one of my dreams that I have, is to share the magnificence of willow trees with other people, as well as, you know, maples, apple trees, fruit trees, kind of starting up an orchard on our homestead once we get that would be so incredible. We're gonna get there, don't you worry. We are consistently growing on the channel, growing the expansive garden that we have, growing in our knowledge as well, along with you all. So we're gonna get there one day. I'm hoping in the next few years we can buy our property that has, say, 5 acres, where we can get some sheep, a couple of pigs, some goats, stuff like that. That is going to be our goal. All right, I've just got to show off some of the magnificent work that we have here. The gardens are looking so cute. We've got flower seeds starting everywhere. This awesome little fountain that was just made recently, homemade, believe it or not, including the brick there. That chimney, kind of chimney, that was all homemade as well. Just incredible, very cool. Pollinator friendly garden, all sorts of dahlias, some lilies, more dahlias up here. You might notice the sedum sarmatosum all over the place. This stuff is really cool. It puts off some beautiful yellow flowers when it does flower. It's very close. We're looking maybe a few weeks out till they flower. All of this ground cover here is sedum sarmatosum. I forgot what this is called. Very cool though. Then this patch here is going to be incredible when it blooms. This is all bee balm. And then the raspberry patch has gotten quite out of control since you all have seen it last. The kids just could not get enough of these raspberries though, so I think they'll still pick them dry no matter what. We've got some sage in here. Gonna rub that on my fingers and give it a smell. Wonderful, I love sage. Clematis. Beautiful as always. I think this is Virginia creeper. That we'll have to keep an eye on, because that's pretty invasive stuff right there. Ooh, stinging nettle. I love stinging nettle, using it in soups and stuff. My mother-in-law, not so much. She does not like it at all. I have grown like for some reason I know how to handle it, so I really don't get stung by it. The key is to go up whenever you're rubbing against the plant instead of down, because a lot of these tiny little hairs are growing upwards. So if you go along with them, you kind of break out you know, the noxious toxin that is inside those spines, and it's not really going to cause you an issue. But if you go down, that's when it can pierce through your skin, release those toxins, and then you'll have a reaction from there. But stinging nettle is an incredible plant. I really should do more videos on it in the future. A lot of really cool uses for that. Back over on this side, we've got hostas, ladies' mantles, all kinds of what look to be Shasta daisies. And then over here, these are the circle flowers. These were brought to the Cedarburg, Wisconsin area a couple hundred years ago. They put off a really cool yellow flower all throughout the stem at each of these sets of leaves. Very, very cool. And we still have more. There's some stuff up front that I want to show you all also. We helped plant a lot of this stuff, so it's really cool to see how well established it's become over the last couple of years. We've got the classic bleeding hearts, more hostas, ferns, dahlias up front here. You might recognize this is where we took our dahlia cuttings in our dahlia propagation video. Pardon our weeds, we're feeding the bees. Well, really not too many weeds in these garden beds. Got a still bee. There's a weed right there. These, I forgot what they're called. So many flowers, it's hard to remember all of the names when I'm so involved in other plants. Some coleus. Oop. Looks like they've been growing sideways for a while. Some of you might recognize a couple of these plants. The favorite ones that I really want to highlight in this garden area that we've planted was the these wild garlic. Very cool velvety leaves. Really pretty, this cool little flower. They put off this really cool little flower that looks like a pitcher plant down underneath the plant. Really quite interesting. Very cool. And then Ligularia, one of my favorites. This is what we're looking for. We want to get Ligularias in our backyard, but I can't find them anywhere this year for some reason. And then another one of my favorites that we've got from a garage sale a few years ago was the Solomon seal. This is a variegated Solomon seal. Quite attractive foliage there. Very cool with the red stem down the middle, the variegation, and then the awesome little flowers that drop from it as well. And last, we have the boat that we planted a bunch of sedum, some stone crop in here as well. This looks really incredible when it blooms. I'll probably do an update whenever we get to that point, because this whole area is just covered in flowers from the stone crop, sedum, and the sedum sarmatosum here. Also, it's like a carpet of yellow flowers. All right, I want to thank you all so much for tuning in to this quick little garden tour here. I hope you had fun reminiscing on all of the old plants that we grew years and years ago. It's really cool to see how this stuff fills in, starts flourishing and growing in the garden. That's what we do it for anyways, right? Happy gardening, and we'll see you in the next episode.